All right, class. So by request, I was asked to record how to input some things for objective 10, 11, and 12. So I'm going to quickly go through that as quick as possible. So this is objective 10. If you missed class for Thursday, July 16th, we did these in the class period. So we're just gonna keep looking here. So for this first one, in order to graph this, and this is one of the things I talked about on the live, you guys have to know how to think on your own. I can't, and as a teacher, I really don't like to keep giving you guys the answers. I am more concerned about your thought process. On the test, your thought process is what's going to help you pass the test. So when I ask you guys certain questions, those are the questions that you need to be asking yourselves while you are working. So for this particular problem, my first question would be, how am I going to graph this based off of the different ways that we have talked about graphing? So the first thing that I'm going to notice is that it says y equals x minus 5. And whenever I see y equals mx plus b, that's telling me that it's in slope-intercept form. So whenever I see y equals mx plus b, that's slope-intercept form. So in order to graph this, all I have to do is plot -5. So let me clear this if possible. So all I have to do is plot a point at -5, and in order to do this in WebAssign, you click on this dot here. This dot is the point. So I'm going to click my mouse at -5 on the y-axis. And if you're in doubt, you can click here and see that the point is indeed 0, -5. Okay. Now, because I have an X here, I know that it's a 1 in front of it. That is not necessary for us to write. When we have a 1 in front of our variable, it's just assumed that it's a 1. So I know that M equals 1. So when M equals 1, that can just be, 1 over 1. So we'll go up 1 and to the right 1. So from this point at -5 on the y-axis, I'm going to go up 1 and to the right 1 and plot a point there. Okay? Now that I'm done plotting points, I'm going to click on this double-ended arrow, and it's going to open out the options. So we have a straight line, which has an arrow on each end. We have a point and an arrow, which is a ray, and then we have a dot on each end, which is like a segment. So we want to select the double-ended arrow. When that is selected, all we have to do is click on each point one by one, click here, click there, and it's going to create that line for us. Let's look at another one. We have y equals -x plus 3. So it's in slope-intercept form. So the plus 3 is our b, which is our y-intercept. So as you can see, I have a point here at 3 on the y-axis. Our slope is -1. So I go down 1 and to the right 1. So when our slope was +1, we went up 1 and to the right 1. And now that our slope is -1, we go down 1 and to the right 1. Okay? So let's keep going. For this one, and let me erase this here. Okay? So for this one, it's in slope-intercept form as well. So 2 is our y-intercept. So I put a point here at 2. I clicked here, put my point here at 2. I saw that m was -6. So I went down 6 and to the right 1, and I put a point there. I clicked on my double-ended arrow, clicked here, and it created the line for me in WebAssign. Okay? So a lot of you, I feel like, are having issues with graphing in general. So don't get confused when you see f of x. F of x is the same thing as y. I believe we talked about that in one of the lectures. So all of these are still in slope-intercept form, whether it's f of x equals mx plus b or y equals mx plus b. So for this particular problem, we have f of x equals 3/4x plus 5. So plus 5 is our y-intercept. And for this problem, we have a multiple choice where we have to figure out which graph is the correct one. So because we know how to graph, we know that our correct graph is going to have a point at plus 5 on the y-axis. If we look at this graph, it's not a point here. If we look at this graph, it's not a point here. So these two graphs are out. If we look at the bottom two graphs, we have a point at 5 and we have a point at 5. So it has to be one of these. If we look at our slope for 1, the slope is positive. So from there, we can see that this is a negative slope. So this can't be the answer. This one is a positive slope. Now let's look at the slope and see if it's 3/4. So from our 5, if we go up 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, we are at a point on the line. So this one is indeed our answer. Okay? So let's keep going. Let's look at number 9. So number 9 is in ax plus by equals c form. Now, if you don't want to do the x and y intercepts, you do not have to do that. My job is to give you all of the options, and your job is to stick to the method that helps you get the answer right every time, okay? So if finding the x and y intercept is not your thing, it's definitely okay to take this equation, 2x plus y equals -3, and solve it for y. So I would subtract 2x on both sides. 2x minus 2x is 0. So on the left side, I have y. And on the right side, because these are not like terms and they do not combine, all I have to do is just list them. So I have -2x and -3. So this is in slope intercept form. So now it's easy for me to graph. I'll just plot a point at -3 on the y-intercept. I will go down 2 and to the right 1, and that's my graph. So let's do another one like that. So let's do another one like that. And I think I'm going to do 11 and 12. I'm going to do probably a separate video for each one. Okay, so let's quickly do this one. All right, so we got 2x minus y equals 6. Now I'm going to solve it for y because I don't want to do the x and y intercept situation. So I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides of the equation because I'm trying to get the y by itself. So 2x minus 2x is 0. So I have a negative y equals negative 2x plus 6. Now, in slope-intercept form, we can't have it with a negative y, so I need to change the sign of every term. So it'll be y equals 2x minus 6. Or you can think about it as dividing each term by a negative 1 or multiplying each term by a negative 1, or just change the sign of everything, whichever floats your boat. Okay, so now that I have the equation in slope-intercept form, I can come here and click on the point, find negative 6 on the y-axis, put a point there, and because my slope is 2, I'm going to go up 2 and to the right 1. I'm going to click on my double-ended arrow, and I'm going to click on my first point, then click on my second point, and it's going to create a line for me. And I'm going to hit submit answer. And I get that check, and it tells me it's correct. Okay, so a lot of you all have kind of low homework grades, and up here, if you click on this plus sign, it tells you that you have 5 submissions. So I only submitted one time. So if I got this incorrect, I can submit again up to 5 times. Okay. So if you guys feel like your grades are really low and you are willing to put in the work, I would definitely reopen some of the homework assignments to you all so that you can go back in and make those corrections. Also, with the final exam coming up, going back in and correcting your homework could actually help you study for the final exam. So if that's something that you are interested in, please send me a text message so we can get that going. As I said in the class video, yesterday was our last YouTube class. Next week, we're going to be meeting on Zoom on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Test 4 review is due on the 21st, no exceptions. Test 4 is due on the 22nd, no exceptions. The final review is due on, and I might change this. Yes, I might change this. The final review might be due on the 23rd because we are going to be going over the final review during those sessions. So I'm going to change this, but the ultimate goal by Thursday night, everybody needs to have that final done on the 23rd because I have to have the grades calculated and submitted on the 24th. Okay, so I'm going to change the due date for the final review to the 23rd. That way you guys can come to class on Thursday at 12 and, you know, fully answer all of your questions, and you can have the review and the final submitted by Thursday at midnight. So I'm going to make a few of those changes. All right. Now we are going to take a look at objective 11. So for objective 11, for number 1, we have to find the slope of the line containing the given points. Okay, so when we have 2 points, one of the things we need to think about is the slope of that particular line. So, and we can do this several ways. We can graph both of the points and find the slope from the graph, or we can use the slope formula, which is what we're going to do. So the slope formula is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, and when they give us P1 and P2, the values in P1, those are going to be our x1 and our y1. And the values in P2, that's going to be our x2 and our y2. So when we plug that in, for y2, we'll have 1. And for y1, we'll have 3. So that's 1 minus 3. For x2, we have 3. And for y1, we have 1. So we got 3 minus 1. So we have 1 minus 3, which is negative 2. And we have 3 minus 1, which is positive 2. So our slope is negative 1. And I'm just going to put in negative 1, hit submit, and that's the answer. Okay, so that is what you do when you have to find the slope and you are given 2 points. So let me erase this, and let's look at a different scenario. Okay, so here we have graph by using the slope intercept. So in the questions that we did in objective 10, for those we used the slope intercept, but in that section, now I'm remembering, we talked about graphing it with the 3 points. So I'll have to go back and show you guys that. I showed that in the actual class, but so I'll go back and do that. But here, let's do the slope and y-intercept. So the slope, so we're looking at the form y equals mx plus b. So the slope is m and the y-intercept is b. So if we look here at 5 over 7x, 5 over 7 is our m. So 5/7 is our m. And where we have the plus b in our equation, over here we have -3. So that means that the y-intercept is -3. So in order to graph this, and let me turn the annotation off. So you have to click on the dot here. Click on the dot. And that is going to allow you to plot points on the graph. So we find -3 on our y-axis and we put a point there. And hold on. I think I still have the annotation on. Hold on. Something is going on. Give me a second. Okay, so I'm going to select the point and click on -3. Then I'm going to go up 5 and to the right 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now that I have those 2 points plotted, I'm going to click on the double arrow, make sure that that's selected. I'm going to click on this point, click on this point, and it's going to create the line. So now I'm going to submit the answer. And it's correct. Okay. So, and we talked about these in Objective 10. For this one, when we have y equals -7/2x, because we don't see a plus b or minus b or anything, the y-intercept is 0. So our first point will be at 0, 0, which is the origin. And then we would go down 7 and to the right 2. And find our double arrow, click, click, and it connects it. And when we submit it, it's the correct answer, okay? So when you don't see a B, B equals 0. That's why you don't see it, okay? Now for this problem, let me show you how we did it in Objective 10. So in Objective 10, now that I'm remembering, we talked about the 3 points. So we made like a little table with X's and Y's. So we found the input and the output. So our equation, let's see, we have y equals -4x plus 1. So what we want to do, we want to plug in different things for for x. So let's plug in 2, 0, and -2. So because we're plugging in 2, 0, and -2 for the x's, then those are the first coordinates for our x's. We have to figure out what the y's are, and that will be the second coordinate that we're looking for. So -4 times 2 is negative, and let me write this out. -4 times 2 is -8 plus 1. So that equals -7. -4 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is just 1. And -4 times -2 is +8 plus 1. And that will be 9. So our answers is -7, 1, and 9. So now we have to plot these 3 points. So 2, -7, let's click on our dot. From the origin, we go to the right 2 and down to -7. From the origin, because we have 0, we do not go to the left or the right, and then we just go up 1. And for -2, 9, from the origin, we go to the left to -2 and up to the 9. Okay, so like I showed you before, you can drop these down to make sure you plotted the correct points. And we have 2, -7, 0, 1, and -2, 9, which is exactly what we wanted. So with these points, all I have to do is click on my double arrow, click on the points, and it connects the line. All right. And we hit submit. And it's correct. Okay. So in objective 10, we talked about using the chart method or the plug and chug, whatever you want to call it. We talked about that method. Then we went into the slope intercept form. So hopefully that clears you guys' mind about this section. For this particular problem, it says graph the line that passes through the given point and has this given slope. For these, all you literally have to do is plot the point, which is -4, 1. So we go over -4 and then up 1. And then all we have to do is the slope, which is up 2 and to the right 3. So we go up 2 and to the right 3. We click our double-ended arrow, click here, and click here, and that's the graph. So these are super easy, you guys. I promise you. You just want to think about it and make sure you guys are not rushing or anything. Like I said, if you want me to reopen the some homework or something, let me know so you can try to resubmit some of your answers. You do have 5 submissions, so let me know about that. If we look at this one, we plot the point 2, 1, which is 1, 2. So we go 1, 2. Then the slope is -7. So we go down 7 and to the right 1. Click on our double-ended arrow and connect the line just like that, y'all. So these are super easy. You guys shouldn't be having problems with these. The only issue should have been maybe how to use the WebAssign graphing system. But even with some trial and error, you know, you can figure that out as well. So let's look at objective 12. So in objective 12, we were writing equations. So for this first one here, we have a point and we have a m. So this point, because the x is a 0 and we have a y, that means that this is a y-intercept. So I'm going to use slope-intercept form. They give me the slope, which is m. So I got 9x, and they give me the y-intercept, which is 7. So y'all see how easy that was? If we look at the second one, we have 0, 7, which we know that that's a y-intercept, and we have m equals 1, so it's y equals 1x, which is just x, plus 7. Super simple. Let's keep going. Let's look at number 3. And I'm going to erase this. So let's look at number 3. We have 8, 4, and then we have our slope. So we can use point slope formula. So we have y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So the m that they gave us is 1/4, so we put that in there. And then we have to plug in the x and the y that they gave us. So the x is 8, so we plug that in. And the 4 is the y, so we plug that in, okay? From here, we have to distribute the 1/4. So I'm just going to bring whatever I'm not working with at the moment, I'm just going to bring down. So -4 times x is 1/4x. Negative 8 times 1/4 is -2. Remember, we have 8 times 1/4, so it's 8/4, which equals 2, but because the 8 is negative, it'll be -2. So now that we have this side distributed, we can add 4 to both sides. So that's going to go away. And we're going to have y equals 1/4x plus 2. So this is our equation. Okay. Now entering this in, we have some options to input, like fractions and different things like that. So I'm going to do y equals, and I want to click this fraction button, 1/4. I'm going to put an x, and I'm going to do +2 and submit my answer. And that's it. It's perfect. So let's keep looking. That's the same method, same. Then we go back to, the 2 points, which you would have to find the slope. For these, with the 2 points, you will find the slope using the slope formula. Then you can take the slope and one of the points, plug it into point slope form, and then you can figure it out like that. All right, so as the final schedule, let's have the test 1 review. Let's have the test 4 review due on, let's have them due by the same day. So test 4 review and test 4 need to be turned in by the 22nd, and the final review and the final need to be turned in by the 23rd, and that's by 11:59 p.m. And my time is Central Time, so by 11:59 p.m. Okay, and I'm going to change those dates on Blackboard as well. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you send me a text and let me know. And we got 1 more week left, y'all, so please get that work done. And I'll see y'all next week for class. Each day class will be on Zoom. So I'll see you guys next week on Zoom.